Minoru Suzuki is a Japanese professional wrestler and former mixed martial artist currently working for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Suzuki's background is rather different from other wrestlers that we've covered on this channel. While his wrestling journey started at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo like many other Japanese wrestlers, things got more real for Suzuki in 1993 when he formed the Pancrase MMA promotion with Masakatsu Funaki. This would be instrumental in paving the way for mixed martial arts in Japan.
My uncle showed me this videotape of this Japanese UWF, and there was these two guys on there. I remember the names of staff. It was Masakatsu Funaki and Suzuki Minoru, and they were on. I remember watching them in this videotape, and to me it was like the best thing in the world, because I saw these two guys, they were striking each other when they were standing up, and then when they actually go into the ground, they were maneuvering for these different types of submission holds. At the time, I didn't understand what they were doing, and they were grabbing these locks and stuff, but I knew enough about fighting, and I knew about wrestling, what they were doing. Like, there was pain, and I knew that they were moves. So, and I remember watching this stuff, and I was like, this is just off the hook. I go, is this on the up and up? And he said, yeah, these guys are for real. And so I said, man, how do I get in touch? How do I do this? You know, I mean, immediately, you know, I think most people would have said, forget that, dude, I'm crazy. I was like, how do I get in? Sent me up to Japan. And that's where I met Minoru Suzuki and Funaki, these guys I saw on tape. And that's when I really understood what it was to be a complete fighter, because I got my ass handed to me for 2 hours. I took a beat. But when they grabbed my legs, man, it was like, what do you do from here? And all of a sudden my ankle's breaking, my knee's breaking, and I can't hit them. I said, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And so that was my first experience when they sent me up there. And I actually rolled those guys, and I got beat up for almost 2 hours. But it was enjoyable. It wasn't like I was getting beat up and it was miserable. It was like I was getting beat up, but every time like something happened, I was like, man, how do you do that? You know, and I went back in here, tried to figure out how to defend that. You know, so it was very interesting to me to be able to go in there and fight these guys and these things that I had no idea what they were doing and try to figure it out.
One of the most painful rides I've ever been privy to was I was rolling with the famous Minoru Suzuki from Pancrase. He was one of Carl Gotch's best students, and I can certainly attest that his skills are top-notch. Not only as a professional wrestler, but as a submission guy and fighter as well. But often when I roll with people, I start on my back. I usually don't have any problem being on top and working from on top, but I'm usually bigger than who I wrestle with, so I want to give them the advantage of being on top. So I lay back. Go ahead. Let's go. So the first thing he does is and I don't know, I still don't quite have it down myself, but he found a way to open my guards up, my guard up, put my feet on the ground, and essentially run his shins and his knees over the top of my ankles as I'm trying to play open guard the whole time. And it's just killing me. You're just constantly trying to get your feet away from you. And the whole time, while I'm doing that, there's no way that I'm going to be working any effective techniques. I'm too busy spending time clearing my feet from his knees. I'm hoping to get Suzuki out sometime, seminar. Maybe he can show that to somebody. I'm sure Jake Shannon would love to be demoed on for that, because I've already been through the torture.
I do my very first fight in front of 17,000 people. People started chanting my name. And ever since that first fight, people chanted my name, my very first one. And I wasn't trying to entertain them. I was just very emotional and intent. It's carried over in every single one of my fights.
I've been telling people on this channel to subscribe, and they won't.
Yes.
What can we do about that? Can you help me out? Maybe if you tell them to subscribe, they'll do it.
You threaten them. I'll threaten them for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. You don't have to do it till you're cursed.
As time would go on, they would realize for the promotion to succeed, they would need to focus a bit more on entertainment over the straightforward MMA-style fighting they had originally presented. Funaki and Suzuki would sometimes carry some of their opponents during fights, They would give their opponents opportunities to create drama before finally finishing them off. The first king of Pancrase open-weight champion, Frank Shamrock, would later explain that Funaki and Suzuki were light years ahead of everyone else, and they were so good that they were like cats playing with a mouse, and they could elongate fights and make them more entertaining while keeping the realism of the fight intact. Suzuki was one of the most successful fighters in Pancrase. He had a 7-0 winning streak, including a huge upset win over Ken Shamrock, and this is the only man to hold 2 wins over Shamrock in the Pancrase era. Suzuki did not lose a match until he lost to Baz Rutten and would end up holding an overall record of 30 wins and 19 losses.
Do not underestimate Suzuki because he just beat Ken Shamrock, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't beat Ken. He did, so I had to watch out. Very good athlete, very fast, goes from one transition to the other. You see how he moves right away to the side. He doesn't even give me a chance to get him into the guard. He's going for a leg lock, and watch this, now he's very tricky. And look at the beautiful reversal from Suzuki. And knowing him, he will use this against me. He's going to a half guard. He's probably going for the knee by ass because he's there right there. And he's got it. He's got it. And I make an escape. Whoa. I told you, do not underestimate Minoru Suzuki. I know he's tired, so I want to go for the body. That was a good front kick. He felt that front kick, and that's a guillotine choke, and I had it full on, and he's tapping, which makes me the first time King of Pancrase.
Suzuki was such a prominent figure in Japanese professional fighting that he would be tapped by the makers of Tekken to be the motion actor for the character King. And Suzuki would even end up inventing some of King's moves during the sessions. Eventually, Suzuki would transition from fighting to the business and training side of Pancrase, and eventually end up in pro wrestling in 2003, working for many different promotions, including New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Japan. Suzuki would enter the ring to the song Kaze ni Nare by Nakamura Ayumi. The song describes the endless path of someone who fights to achieve their dream, who aims to fly into the storm like a bird and become the wind. In 2010, Suzuki would team up with Lance Archer at New Japan Pro Wrestling, and in 2011, they would even win the G1 Tag League that year. Suzuki would have a solid run in New Japan Pro Wrestling with notable main event matches against Tanahashi, Ishii, Nakamura, and Okada. Suzuki would make his way to the United States in 2017 to challenge Cody Rhodes for the Ring of Honor World Championship. For many, this was a dream come true, as Suzuki had spent almost his whole career in Japan and was certainly nearing retirement from competition. But here we are, it's 2024, and we can still see him live in AEW, or maybe even on a fucking bullet train. So, being the wrestling legend that he is, you would think the wrestling community would understand how fucking awesome this truly is. But instead, his matches are often met with low ratings, insults, and general disinterest. Now I ask, is that any way to treat your murder grandpa?
I wanted to make a video about Suzuki. I wanted to know more about Suzuki. I know he was a wrestling legend, so this video was really fun to put together. And this match was fun to watch. The first segment of this match before the first commercial break is all chops back and forth between Suzuki and Jericho. And the negative reviews can't handle this at all. These guys on Cage Match who want these technical wrestling fests and want everything to look like a real fight. Guys, this is about as real as a fight could possibly get. This guy cracks me the fuck up. This bottom guy down here literally thinks that Jericho bladed his chest. The motherfucker thinks that Jericho... That's Suzuki, dude. He hits that fucking hard. That's real. That's just that's why they do this. Because it's the realest thing they can do. The wrestling chop is two guys hitting each other, okay? It's not boxing. They're not going to knock each other out doing this. They're not. The reason why it's done is because you can't punch each other in the face like that. You're going to fuck up each other's faces and give each other concussions and shit. So this is what you do. And it's a sign of strength. It's like a rite of passage. Haven't you noticed that every single wrestler on the AEW roster wants a match with Suzuki so that they can wear the fucking badge? They can say, I stood toe-to-toe with Suzuki, we chopped the fuck out of each other, and I didn't die. And that's pretty much the match. And I guess if you are so fucking just lost the goddamn plot of what wrestling is all about and don't have any fucking molecule of respect for this guy, or either of these guys. I mean, fine, you don't respect Jericho. I get it. I got a whole video about that, why that happened to a lot of people. Should check it out. But as far as Suzuki, what the fuck did he ever do to deserve your goddamn disrespect, man? Yeah, the guy's over 50 years old. He's got, a litany of issues that prevent him from going the way he used to when he was young. But he's still out there. He's still doing it. The crowd is fucking popping for it. I mean, that's all you really got to do is listen to the crowd. And yeah, the internet is all clutching its pearls and getting all fucking weird about the Chop Fest. But the crowd is literally chanting Chop Forever. So that should tell you how over this shit is and how actually effective it is. All right, we got some good reviews here as well. Both men are over 50 years old, and this went hard as fuck as an opener. And that's basically all you need to know about it. For a guy Suzuki's age, this is fucking great that he is still out there doing this shit. I got the privilege to see Suzuki live at a Supercard of Honor during WrestleMania weekend, and it was really something else to watch that and hear the audience respond to him. So I think that's great. I think that's the biggest testament you can have as a wrestler. You've been doing it for as long as he has, and the audience still comes up out their seat when you come out on the ramp. What more can you really ask for? Well, guys, what I'm going to ask for is I'm going to ask you to watch another video. I don't know what I'm doing anymore here, guys. This was honestly, maybe, I don't want to say it's like, I don't want to get too weepy about this and say this is my last, mini documentary video, but it's hard for me to put the time in on these anymore if they're not getting the views. So I don't know. Share them around. If you want to see more of them, we might have to go to some kind of, I don't know. Check out the Patreon link down below. I got merch down below as well. I was calling this stuff out on stream a couple of days ago, and people just started buying t-shirts. They didn't know I had those for sale, so I may as well tell you here. I do have t-shirts for sale. They're pretty cool. Some wrestlers out there have them. Darby Allin has one. Danhausen has one. Some guys on the indies have them. I hear they're going to start wearing them to matches. So you might start seeing that Mr. Hargrave from Parts Unknown show up in some wrestling places here and there, and maybe some other places. Who knows? Thank you so much for watching this video to this point. Make sure you check out another one because you probably missed a couple. And grave diggers, keep digging.
He is I and I am him, and I'm the undisputed Trent Matt Taven. And this dork behind the camera, some Melvin told me to say, grave diggers keep on digging. Whatever that means.
I am AEW wrestler and Ring of Honor tag champ Mike Bennett. And remember, grave diggers keep digging, but not the monster truck. Even though my son really likes that monster truck, I kind of like Son of a Digger and Zombie. I'm going off on a tangent about monster trucks because my son really loves monster truck, but we're talking about the YouTube channel. So make sure, grave diggers, keep on digging, baby.
So this Mark doing one happy private party saying what up to the grave diggers and doing your thing, bro.
Alright, like, subscribe, and watch another video, or be cursed. If you're cursed, that means the grave diggers will keep digging your graves. So you probably want to do it.